Well, the one thing about traveling, teen, is you end up having to buy stuff. And we don't really like buying stuff, do we?
No, but the thing about that too, Norm, is when you're visiting different countries, a lot of things that we have here at home don't work in other countries, do they?
That's true. So we were just going to share some of the stuff that we bought that we will either take on a cruise ship or to our month-long trip in Portugal or any other destination. We just came back from Ireland and we had to buy stuff for that as well. So if you're traveling and you want some tips, we've certainly got stuff to show you. So the first thing was, just before we went to Ireland, always seems to happen to me. I didn't get backache, but my iPad stopped working, stopped charging. And for goodness sake, it's only about 8 years old. It lasts forever.
You're really guilty of that, Norm, of not getting new stuff.
No, so I had to buy a new iPad. And my goodness, are they expensive these days? So one of the things that when we get up in the morning, we like to play our Wordle games, don't we?
We do.
And oftentimes, if we haven't charged the iPads, then we have to plug them in because we haven't thought about it in advance. And the one thing with the iPads is you only get a 3-foot length of cable to charge them. So we thought it'd be more relaxing if we got bigger lengths. So this is for my new iPad. This is it's the new USB-C fitting, but it's long. And so we can comfortably plug it into the outlet and sit in our favorite chairs and get all charged up.
So here was me thinking, well, if Norm is going to go and do that, then perhaps I need to get some longer leads.
Well, you're old technology, aren't you, Tim? Not new like me.
But, you know, it might be old, but it still works perfectly. So actually, we ordered me a pack. So I now have some 6-foot and 10-foot lengths. And you know what? We didn't realize just how clever having longer cables is, isn't it?
And when our granddaughter comes over, you can absolutely 100% know that she needs her her cell phone charging up because she's just playing with it all the time, and they work for that.
Yeah, they do.
And you know, people would say the longer leads don't charge as quick, but we haven't noticed any difference. No. We're not in a rush to do anything these days. We're retired.
We just take it easy, don't we?
So one of the other things that we got was an adapter for Portugal, and it's also good on mainland Europe as well for most of, like Germany and places like that. So this is not a converter. It won't convert the power to 110 volts that we need in North America. You're still going to be drawing 220, 230 volts in this, but electronics are already dual voltage. So like the iPads and other items like that, camera batteries that we need.
Oh, and cell phones too.
Cell phones. So this has the regular outlet for North America. There's one on top as well, but now we've got 3 USB and 1 USB-C. And the reason why I bought this is there's 2 versions. There's one that has this big plastic collar, and that fits totally in the outlet, and there's no shake. Whereas the other one they sell is just the 2 bars, prongs coming out without this plastic, and it wiggles.
Yeah.
So we would highly recommend getting this. We never actually took it to Portugal because we had to cancel our trip, but that's another story.
That's true, but it's ready for our trip next year, Norm, in advance.
Yeah, which we've booked.
So while we were busy doing all this, and of course, you know, we went to Ireland, we needed another adapter because the one for Portugal wouldn't work in Ireland because over there they've got the big chunky plugs.
Like British style.
So again, this is not a converter, it's just for electronics.
Adapter.
Yeah. But look at this one. It's got it all around here.
Regular
then-
outlets.
And then here for the USBs
Yeah.
to go in here. And I tell you what, it was great on our trip.
It worked fantastic.
We could just plug everything in, the iPads, the cell phones, and
Yeah.
charge everything up together.
Yeah.
So that was a great one for Ireland or anywhere that's got the similar.
So
Right.
Britain,
Yeah.
all of Ireland,
Yeah. And I think even Singapore and a few countries like that.
probably Hong Kong as well.
So that
So-
was a great one too.
And they're very, very inexpensive
Yeah.
when you think about it. But do you want to end up in a country without an adapter and then you're looking to buy one or what have you and you pay top dollars? We'll put links to all these in the description. In one of our previous videos, we said that we stole the small shampoo bottles that some hotels give you. They like have body lotion, shampoo, and little soaps as well.
Yeah.
So we do take those. And we didn't think that was bad because they're going to
No.
toss them anyway if you half use them.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we sometimes do deals with housekeeping.
Yeah.
So we like to have a coffee, and this is Nescafe Original Instant, 1 cup serving. And we got some in Southampton, and we got some again on our latest trip because they provide tea and coffee in most European hotels. And so we have quite a bit of that. So
Yeah.
when we get to a place that doesn't have it or has a variety that we don't like,
We take those,
we
don't we?
take those out and we can make ourselves a coffee.
And that's a really good tip because if you're staying in a hotel and they have tea and coffee facilities, they only give you a few of these. So
Yeah.
if you can find the housekeeper or the maid that cleans the room and you could just say, hypothetically, do you have any more of these? Some of them just come back and they give you hands full of them, and it's great, isn't it?
And the other trick that we've learned is when we drive up to our trailer, we tend to go past Wendy's, and we have decided that Wendy's is the perfect burger for us.
Yeah.
So we get the Junior Deluxe cheeseburger,
Yeah.
and it's 350 calories, and it costs about $2.69 in Canada.
It's about $6 for the two of us, yeah.
Well, if you ask for extra ketchup, you end up with individual Heinz ketchup,
Yeah.
and they'll just put a handful in your bag.
And they're great for the trailer because we don't use a lot of ketchup. So,
I don't have ketchup at all,
but I like ketchup, but it's a waste to buy a massive bottle of ketchup. So those little ones
free
are
ketchup.
great. And I think it tastes better with free ketchup. Well, actually, we do that too from places for soy sauce, Norm.
We're starting to sound cheap, Dean.
No, we're not. We're just using initiative.
So what's your favourite shoe, Dean?
Skechers. So yes, before we went on the Irish trip, I was buying a few more, and so this was a really nice one that I've just got. This is actually the Skechers air-cooled Goga Mat one, and man, are they comfy. So I got those.
It's like walking on air, Dean.
It is, yeah. And we are not getting paid by Skechers at all. I just buy them because I love them.
But we get them from Amazon, and you'd be surprised how competitive they are
Yeah.
in relation to the sort of chain stores that
Yeah.
you go and buy shoes in malls in North
You can
America.
get some great deals, can't you? In fact, my last 2 pairs were off Amazon. Yeah.
So no trip to Ireland is complete without umbrellas.
Yeah.
So
This was so funny. So
was.
Norm's is black and mine's navy, so that we can actually know whose is whose.
But
But
dollar store, $4.
yeah, we anticipated a lot more rain than we actually got.
We did.
I think, Norm, this was maybe because we bought the new umbrellas to go. We actually, on the Irish trip, we only used them on the last day when it rained.
Yeah.
So maybe it was an omen, hey?
It was tears of God seeing us leave Ireland.
I was just going to say something, Norm, that we actually did at the same time we were buying the Irish adapter. We actually bought the ETA. That was something else that we just bought, wasn't it?
We had to do that. So that's embedded in our Canadian passports.
Yeah.
Even though we have British passports and we could have flashed those and saved ourselves $20 each. But
I think,
and we should say this is not just Ireland, it's Britain as well.
Yeah, we did.
So the other thing about the umbrellas, oops, nearly took off there, is that Tina uses these when the sun is shining.
Yes.
So when we were in China, for instance, the sun was beating down because we were in the southwest of China. And
it was hot.
And Tina was the only one on our tour who had an umbrella and instant shade.
Yeah.
Worked great. I have a hat.
Yeah. So I used the umbrella, and boy, there were people on our coach tour offering me all sorts of deals and money for the umbrella.
But we're going to be taking those to Portugal, and if it's bright and sunny, Tina will be under the shade, or if it's raining, we'll both be staying dry.
Right. Yeah. So we've kind of been quite busy, haven't we, buying things?
Yeah, we got no money left now.
Yeah.
We're poor. So I came across a hack for the cruise ships. And as you know, we're not going on cruises at the moment. But I bought this thing. And it's fascinating. It's a travel router. So the trouble with cruise ships is if you buy the internet package, it's for one device. And it locks to that device. And then you have to log off. And then the other person you're traveling with, if they want to log on, then they have to log on.
And it's actually a real pain in the butt, I was going to say.
It really is.
Yeah.
So this little thing logs on to the ship's internet that you've bought. It's just the one device, but this will power 6 devices. So we were both, because we like playing our games against each other, a little competition.
And we couldn't do that when we were coming in and off.
No, we couldn't.
No,
so we were both on the internet. I even had a laptop that was on it as well.
So we had a laptop, 2 iPads and 2 cell phones on it. So we had 5 on, didn't we?
We did, and it worked perfectly.
It was great.
And this thing is only like $40. It's, the internet package. It's like 150.
So well worth the money in gold, what we paid for that, wasn't it? It worked great.
So if you're anywhere traveling and you're locked to one device, this is a great idea to do it. Some cruise ships have figured it out, others haven't. But we took the gamble and it worked on Princess cruises.
Did. And actually what Norm did was he went onto YouTube beforehand, didn't you?
Best place to search.
There was a great guy who did a YouTube video and told you everything you had to do, wasn't it? So you watched that, and he was an expert by the time we got on the cruise ship. You did it. It was great.
So this guy was bought one for cruises, so he showed you how to log on to it, and it's just it's been great. Big money saver. And we have a couple of other uses for it, which we're not going to discuss publicly here.
But it's a good investment, isn't it?
It really is. And one of the last things I bought was I have a Canon DSLR that we sometimes use for these videos. And one of the problems is the batteries don't last very long. So I was able to get an adapter that goes up inside the camera and it runs through a transformer and you plug it into the wall and the camera never runs out of power.
That's a
Unless there's
very,
a power
yeah,
cut.
that's a very clever little item, isn't it? That
They call it a D-tap.
Yeah.
And basically, we have it in our studio. At the moment, we're using our iPhone for videos, but we also use this Canon RP, and this accessory was very inexpensive. So that's what we're wasting our money on at the moment.
Oh, and the other thing that we're wasting our money on too, Norm, is because quite a lot of people have been asking us on their comments about our travel insurance. As you know,
Oh, that's right.
we have a yearly annual policy that we buy attached to our credit card. So it's not the normal insurance on the credit card, it's a complete travel and medical policy on the credit card, and we pay for that annually.
And it's through MasterCard, and they are using
Alliance. But the one thing we have just done, and we have mentioned it to a few people, is we just have enrolled and bought MedJet. And that is something that I feel a great peace of mind for
What
us
is
traveling.
MedJet, team?
Well, MedJet is what I call the cherry on the cake for medical insurance. If, God forbid, something goes wrong, you get, is this right, medically evacuated once you have been stabilized. So if you get ill and you are in a hospital, and they can stabilize you, then they will come in and they will fly you home. So if you need surgery or something else, that's what it is, isn't it?
You have to be in a hospital, so you've had made either a medical issue or an emergency accident. Once the hospital say you stabilized, then you can call MedJet, and they will liaise with the hospital and come with their own ambulance and pick you up, take you to their evacuation plane. It'll either be a main airline in business class that have lie flat seats, or in a medical jet, and then bring you to a local hospital near where you live. So you can continue treatment.
Or have surgery if, say, you broke a hip or something like that. And we've had a couple of people mention to us that they think that it runs out. We actually bought the 5-year policy, which will take us up to 75. But there is another policy, I think it's the Diamond policy, from 75 to 84. So anybody who is unsure about it, you can get this after you are 75.
And we just think it's peace of mind. And it's relatively inexpensive. The moment that you use it, if you ever do, basically you've just saved yourself something like $50,000 or $60,000. But we're all getting older. We're all starting to have aches and pains, and hopefully nothing will happen to us as we travel. But if we do, we have this in the background ready to go. So we do recommend MedJet, and once again, we're not getting paid by them.
No.
It was something a couple of our viewers suggested that we look at, and it made a lot of sense to us.
Because at the time we actually didn't know anything about it, did we?
No, we didn't. So, have we been wasting our money on anything else, team?
No, we're still shopping for the luxury recliner laser boys.
Oh yeah.
We're still looking for them.
Work in progress.
That's a work. We got a lot of work in progresses, haven't we, Norm?
We do too. So in the meantime, we're enjoying going to our trailer. So we're about to leave for there, and we're going to have an adventure.
Yes, we are.
And go for a cruise. I guess it is a day cruise.
A day cruise. Actually, very excited because it's something we've really wanted to do.
So that'll be a trip on Lake Huron later on. And we just hope everybody's keeping well.
And staying safe.
And until the next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.